unfortunately for Angel Reese, she's dead last. And I'm not kidding you in this list of players. And she looks really, really bad in comparison. And we're going to take a look at that.
What if I told you that one of the WNBA's most anticipated rookies is actually one of the least effective scorers in the league? Even though Reese has a huge social media following, many of her admirers won't accept the reality of her shooting statistics.
So refreshing to see some shots actually make it refreshing! Oh no! That's Angel Reese's music! Bang! You like Mustangs? Your favorite player is Lawal Dang? Oh, you said bang!
Hold on, because I'm going to provide a startling fact that reveals just how awful she is. If you believe that she is already awful, you'll quickly discover that she's even worse. The figures are honest, and you'll see why basketball luminaries openly criticize Reese's play once I show you where she stands in relation to all WNBA scorers. We'll reveal two legends at the end of this video that Reese formerly believed to be in her corner, but are now disparaging her. This is where perception and reality diverge more than you may imagine. Are you prepared to leave?
A couple of the most baffling things that I've seen this offseason is the lack of videos involving Angel Reese working on layups. Now, look, the layup issue is a real issue for Angel Reese, and I don't understand the taking all the... I mean, yeah, sure, you can practice two-point shots just inside the three-point line. You can practice three-point shots, but there seems to be an emphasis on that from Angel Reese, and I don't understand, because she should be trying to perfect her game inside 5 foot.
Did you know that out of all the WNBA volume scorers, Angel Reese has the lowest shooting efficiency? The figures are significantly worse than anyone anticipated, and we need to discuss.
All right, back to business. Line bag work, Brittany Griner. You said you rang? Bang!
Somebody said she's got the coordination skills of a baby giraffe. I don't know what baby giraffes did to receive that kind of slander, but I won't stand for it. Bang!
The WNBA is back in little over a month. A friendly reminder, we're not watching because of one person. We're watching because of her, too.
The gold standard metric for assessing a player's offensive value is their true shooting percentage. True shooting percent, as opposed to basic field goal percentage, provides us with a full picture by taking into consideration all field goal, three-point, and free throw attempts. It shows how effectively a player uses their offensive possessions in addition to how frequently they score. This statistic distinguishes the top scorers from the volume in a league where every possession counts.
Chicago Sky's Angel Reese found herself at the very bottom of the list, sitting at 30th, with a true shooting percentage of just 46.4%. The contrast between the two rookies, both with massive college followings and major fan bases, ignited strong reactions online.
Let's now confront the difficult reality. Angel Reese is presently ranked 30th in the league with a pitiful 46.4% true shooting percentage. This is scraping the bottom of the barrel, not just below average. For context, the majority of well-known WNBA players consistently maintain levels well above 50%, with stars frequently surpassing it. Even the same world does not contain Reese.
Be nice to look this clumsy at your job and then declare you're underpaid. Privilege! Bang! Justice for all baby giraffes out there. I will fight the good fight. Bang! There's one thing to take from these videos. Never give up, because if she can do it, you can do it too.
Well, she's just a rookie getting used to pro competition, you could think. However, when you consider her classmates, that justification is exposed. Despite receiving the most defensive attention of any rookie, Caitlin Clark has an amazing 58.3% true shooting percentage, which places her 6th overall in the league, first among rookies, and second among all guards, only surpassed by Kelsey Mitchell. Clark is flourishing under the same rookie learning curve that is said to account for Reese's challenges.
Caitlin Clark may just be starting her WNBA journey, but she's already making waves, not only with highlight plays, but also with cold, hard numbers. A recent viral post on X revealed the true shooting efficiencies of the league's top 30 scorers. and it sparked quite the controversy among fans. Clark, now a rookie with the Indiana Fever, ranked 6th amongst all shooters with a true shooting percentage of 58.3%. True shooting percentage takes into account a player's field goals, three-pointers, and free throws, making it a key indicator of overall scoring efficiency. For a first-year player, it's elite company to be in.
For a moment, let's assume that Clark is the only exception. You know what the 4th overall selection is? At 55.2%, Rickea Jackson is likewise near the top of the list. However, because of their protracted injuries from the previous season, Cameron Brink, the 2nd overall choice, and Camila Cardoso, the 3rd overall pick, were excluded from the efficiency list because their scores were insufficient to have a statistically meaningful base.
Clark's game has translated well to the pros. Her shooting from deep remains a threat, 33.9% from beyond the arc. She was 13th in the league, while her mid-range and inside games are just as effective. She ranked 4th in two-point field goal percentage. See, that's where I'd expect Angel Reese to be real high. Nah. And 2nd in free throw shooting with a remarkable 90.9%. Her effective field goal percentage, EFG, which adjusts for three-point shots being worth more, stood at 52.1%, good for 10th overall.
Now, here's something genuinely startling that no one is discussing. Reese's own missed baskets account for about 40% of her well-known rebounds. Let that sink in. Even though the stats are improving, impressive on paper, but her own inefficiency contributes to their exaggeration. She is essentially giving herself rebounding opportunities by missing jumpers that the majority of post players would make. Her effective field goal percentage may persuade you if her true shooting percent doesn't. 39.5% is league worst. In essence, Rhee is a hole for offensive possessions. The Chicago Sky is statistically better off if practically anyone else had attempted that shot when she touches the ball with the intention of scoring. Despite her other contributions, her inefficiency limits her team's potential and affects the entire offense. That must be the reason why no one is watching over her.
By contrast, Reese's shooting woes drew criticism. She finished 30th in two-point percentage at 40%. God. 29th in three-point percentage, 18.8, and her effective field goal percentage was a league low 39.5%. That's crazy as hell. And I don't want to hear nothing about a big. We're going to take a look at something. Even from the free throw line, often a reliable scoring source for bigs, she landed 27th. Considering most of Reese's shots come from close to the rim.
It turns out that these figures worsen when we start looking at the precise source of her shots and how she's. I'm missing them. Angel Reese's shooting efficiency isn't just poor for a rookie. We haven't even reached the most damning data yet. Her shot selection and usage rate are historically poor for any WNBA player. Coaches can't afford to feed offensive possessions through ineffective scorers. Thus, players who shoot this poorly usually don't maintain high usage rates. Nevertheless, despite evidence that suggests she shouldn't, Reese still commands a big offensive role.
Some fans found the numbers hard to stomach. A 6'3" post player that shot 90% of shots from 5 foot, within 5 foot, is at 30. Another one said, OMG, Angel, get up, girl.
When you focus on Angel Reese's performance within 5 feet of the hoop, where her 6 feet 3 inches size should give her a decisive edge, those high-use, low-efficiency stats may be alarming on their own. The statistics get even more concerning. Guards 7 inches shorter than her are outshooting her at a mere 44.5% at point-blank range. This is not just disheartening from a basketball perspective, but it also represents a basic inability to capitalize on her most obvious physical gifts.
I'm going to be honest with you here. I think it is a deal that is eventually going to get her benched in the WNBA. I think that will happen one day, because a good coach, if she ever gets one, is going to look at this and be like, you're 6'4", you're 6'3", You're too damn inefficient. I can't have you on the court. And, just perfect your craft. And then worry about all the other collateral things around.
Let's consider the bigger picture. Reese's exceptional wingspan and height of 6 feet 3 inches make him a nuisance for opponents close to the basket. 2 almost automatic points should be awarded when a player of her caliber positions themselves inside the realm of conventional basketball wisdom. However, Ree manages to convert these high percentage chances at a pace that would make even guys on the perimeter wince. The majority of WNBA players make these shots between 55 and 65% of the time, making a huge impression on Reese's 44.5% for all the wrong reasons. Even worse, she shoots a pitiful 11% from shots that are 5 to 9 feet from the hoop. Indeed, she makes 1 out of 10 mid-range shots.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
The comparison to smaller guards who have much more difficulty finishing at the rim is what makes this statistic very devastating. Consider Kelsey Mitchell, who is only 5 feet 8 inches, but gave up 7 into Ree. Mitchell routinely performs better at the rim, grabbing an incredible 60% of shots that are inside 5 feet of the hoop. For a moment, think about how much more effective a guard who can hardly reach Reese's shoulders is in the paint than someone who has every possible physical edge. This goes beyond height, however, as game tape analysis highlights particular technical errors in Reese's finishing technique. Inconsistent release points, poor technique, and a propensity to hurry shoots even when they are uncontested. Her crossed wrists and pushing motion that comes from her hips rather than a normal shooting motion were noted in one analysis, which characterized her shooting form as a horror show of basketball basics. Some admirers even compare it to witnessing a clumsy young giraffe. And
tells you, look at effective bigs in the league. Jonquel Jones, one of my favorite players, actually. Brittany Griner, 1 and 2. All right, that's what it's supposed to look like for somebody that's 6'3" and above. Asia Wilson, way up there. Then Mitchell, then Clark. Look, if you want to compare Angel to somebody like Aaliyah Boston, look at that. She's right here, 53.7% from 2-point percentage. She was ranked 13th in the league. Angel was ranked 30th.
When contrasting Ree with top post players who share comparable physical characteristics, the difference is even more noticeable. Brittany Gurrier makes 63.1% of her rim shots, compared to AEL Wilson's 67.3%. Instead of depending solely on height, both players know how to use their stature to their advantage by establishing deep positions with appropriate footwork and finishing with technique. Even Caitlin Clark, a key ball handler who is 4 inches shorter at 6 feet 0 inches and is subject to more defensive pressure, makes 54.1% of her 2-point shots. Clark accomplishes this even though she takes more challenging shots and frequently creates her own looks against predetermined defenders instead of receiving passes in predetermined positions.
Angel Reese doesn't look so hot here. Caitlin Clark, she did that as a rookie, folks. Think about that a minute. As a rookie.
What precisely accounts for this enormous gap, then? Certainly, there are no physical restrictions. Ree is fortunate to have the perfect basketball body, but it's not just for defensive purposes. Although she attracts defenders, she avoids the frequent double and triple teams that Clark deals with. It is inevitable to conclude that Reese's difficulties are caused by basic technological errors in her game. According to one source, this pointless inefficiency is an urgent problem that could endanger one's job. Looks close to the basket and a player's entire offensive value proposition should be converting at a high percentage. Their long-term professional viability is seriously called into doubt if they are unable to complete that mission. Let's examine what is actually happening.
There's footage out there of Angel working on her game in the lab, as they say, And mostly what we see is Angel shooting three-pointers.
Given that her basketball career is in jeopardy because of her obvious finishing problems, you would think Angel Reese would be shooting layups until her arms gave out. However, her social media accounts paint an entirely different picture. In recent training videos, Reese can be seen honing his three-point shooting technique, which would wow any coach. Instead of tackling her direct difficulties, she is strangely concentrating on long-range shooting, where she only made 18.8% of her attempts the previous season. It's like watching. Before learning to start the car, someone practices parallel parking. Those with even a basic understanding of basketball may quickly spot Reese's shooting form's technical shortcomings. From the beginning, her unstable base results in poor balance. Her arms and wrists cross awkwardly when she lets go of the ball, totally throwing off the alignment required for steady accuracy. Instead of shooting a basketball, her jerky release looks like someone shot putting a medicine ball. These are basic mistakes that skilled shooting coaches correct in middle school athletes. They are not small adjustments required on an otherwise sound foundation.
Okay, so here you see she's being fed the ball. She's in the right corner. She gets the ball. And again, if you're going to work on expanding your game, okay. But at least make sure that your technique is right. So I'm hoping that this guy and whoever else works with her will work on her technique, because I don't care how many you shoot like this with nobody guarding you. If your technique is not right, you might get a few here or there by happenstance or whatever, but you're not going to consistently knock down shots.
The most perplexing thing is Reese's unwavering dedication to using the incorrect techniques. She is ignoring the inside finishing that could make her a serious offensive danger, even when her films feature three-point attempts that clank off the rim. This exposes more than just subpar shooting technique. It implies a basic misinterpretation of her own value proposition as a player. Not only is this misdirected training focus bad basketball judgment, but it also shows that the player is unaware of her own advantages and disadvantages. When a 6 feet 3 inches player with exceptional length and athleticism shoots worse from a distance than a 7-inch, your training priorities should be clear to guard shorter. Rather than making the most of her inherent talents, Reese seems intent on becoming a player she isn't.
Her arms, her wrists are crossed. Her wrists are crossed, which is the wrong form. Your wrist should not be crossed. You should be totally aligned to your target. So this means that her shooting hand, which is her left, is crossing over. Her elbow, therefore, jutting out.
What did basketball royalty have to say about Reese's shot mechanics then? Astute players pay attention. Regretfully, the royal family isn't exactly praising Angel Reese right now. What began as passionate Hall of Famers support has turned into a far more awkward public intervention. The most significant incident occurred on Reese's own podcast, in which WNBA veteran Lisa Leslie spoke candidly about the core problem ailing Reese's.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me? Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups.
This wasn't just casual feedback, Leslie said simply, addressing the issue that Reese herself appears hesitant to confront. The 3-time WNBA MVP and 4-time Olympic gold medalist pointed out the career-threatening defect. Reese continues to ignore.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form, because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but She seems to take these desperation shots.
The way this intervention differs from other young stars' development pathways is what makes it so remarkable. As Caitlin Clark works out daily in the gym in targeted game-specific situations meant to improve chemistry on the court. The focus of Clark's training is on basic mid-range shooting mechanics through contact, screen, and cut actions that are directly related to her areas of improvement. Development with a purpose that recognizes both advantages and disadvantages. Fans have also observed this significant difference. After watching Reese's most recent three-point shooting exercise video, one viewer sharply questioned, "Is Ree trying to be Steph Curry or Caitlin Clark?" The question gets right to the core of the problem. A player who appears committed to changing into someone she's not, instead of making the most of her innate talents. Shaq then delivered what some fans referred to as verbal body shots, which was an embarrassing moment.
You know who you are? You're the female Antoine Jameson. You know who Antoine Jameson is? He got 20,000 points with his shot. Whatever your shot is. Like, everybody's shot ain't gonna be Steph Curry. Your shot is your shot.
His comparison of Ree to Anton Jameson was one of the most talked about moments. In sharp contrast to Shaq's own legendary status, Jameson, while being a solid player who had a respectable NBA career, was never inducted into the Hall of Fame. Shaq suggested that Ree was more of a role actor than a potential symbol by presenting her in this way. A contrast that appeared to.
He called her Antoine Jameson. Most people, trust me, she was offended.
She didn't know who that was.
She probably does. She's a basketball fan. She probably does. But, I mean, Antoine Jameson ain't cracking nobody's top 200 in NBA history. And this woman thinks she's one of the greatest WNBA players or greatest women's basketball player of all.
The criticism of Reese's layup technique followed. Shaq brushed it off as simple, saying, "You're too concerned with what other people think. Give up caring and simply concentrate on your game." For Ree, whose brand has been based on unreserved self-expression, Shaq's unsolicited advice felt more like a rejection of her whole.
Oh, she can't be rookie of the year because all she do is do the flip shots, get rebound. Just remember all that shit that they say in there. Despite her superior rebounding skills and physical advantages on the court, Reese seems to be doing the exact opposite, doubling down on three-point shooting. It's similar to witnessing someone clean their hubcaps while their tire is flat. The game's legends witness it. Fans witness it. Analysts observe it. Everyone, apparently, with the exception of Reese herself. The numbers clearly show. Caitlin Clark is subtly transforming the WNBA with her exceptional efficiency, but Angel Reese still faces basic shooting difficulties. Analysts are not the only ones who recognize it. Legends of basketball are also paying attention.
We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're gonna make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we are capitalizing on this and we're doing it now.
Clark's deep shooting is still extremely effective. What's really amazing, though, is how her interior and mid-range scoring have transferred to the professional level. Her influence extends beyond data. She is changing how people play and think about the game. The player the Indiana Fever are developing is someone who makes everyone around her better. For women's basketball enthusiasts, 2025 holds something unique. A season that emphasizes basketball IQ, efficiency, and collaboration. Please share your excitement in the comment section. To ensure that you never miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.